to another episode of the Username Podcast featuring the host, me, Leah. I won it fair and square. And also, it was going to feature Ben, except I got into a call with him and he immediately said, "Oh, well, I gotta go. I'll be right back. Just start the podcast." And so here I am alone to introduce our guest of the week, Michael, notable worm streamer. How are you doing, Michael?
Sorry, roll that back, Zach. Give me a sec. Can we? How do you introduce me there? Can we maybe get a redo on that?
Okay, I'll do it. I'll do it over. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
With me is our special guest of the week, my favorite worm streamer,
No, no,
Michael.
no, 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 no. Sorry. I don't mean to draw hairs. It's just a very small nitpick, really. It's that bit in the middle there. You know,
Notable
the no, nope. After that.
streamer
No, you see,
favorite?
you've managed to land right around the issue. If you could just find the word in the middle of all of that, you're
I
so
don't.
close. Like you're
I don't recall.
okay. It doesn't matter. Go on.
How how
It's
how are you? How are you, Michael?
um. I'm doing okay. I think I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to be a part of this podcast. Um.
Why? What's up with your audio? It's a little different than it usually is.
Yeah, I'm currently in an airport lounge. I'm in the Kansas City airport lounge. My flight leaves in an hour and a half, and boarding begins in like an hour. So
Jeez.
that's cool. Yeah, what's great about this is Ben just DM'd me while I was at the airport here. I was about to start reading a book actually. Just like, hey, are you free to record the podcast? And knowing full well that I'm traveling for the next like
Mhm.
12 hours. And I was like, when? And he said, right now. And it just so happened right now was the only time for the next remainder of the year that I could. So here we are.
That's so awesome that we caught you at the only time. Um, for the record, for our listeners, we are recording this at like 1:30 p.m. Eastern time on December 23rd. So, I also don't really have any availability. I had told Ben like, maybe we skip the podcast this week 'cause, like, everybody has a lot going on, but we found the
Listen,
moment.
this drive, this competitive spirit, this is what's going to get you into the big leagues. Okay, other podcasts, they're taking Christmas breaks.
Yeah,
You're on
that's
that
actually
grind.
so true. We were going to take a Christmas break, and this sort of happens for the moment style. But you're so right. I should be more committed to the grind.
Yeah,
This is
you
a
should
good
be
thing.
recording daily episodes.
Well, I probably won't do
You should be
that.
recording hourly episodes.
We got a whole like
You should be
13
on
viewers on the
episode
last one. So,
113 by now. I don't need guests.
mm, well, okay.
You
What
can.
the thing is, when it's just me and Ben, any conversation with Ben, it's either
You don't need
work
Ben
related. You're actually so right. It would be far more. I think I'd have more to say if it were just me sort of going off on tangents
here.
about
Let me
things.
let me do my best Ben impression. Um, hello.
Hi,
Uh,
Ben. Oh, how are
have
you,
you
Ben?
watched Red One this year?
Yes, with you.
Have you watched it again?
No. Actually, no, I did
Uh,
the other day.
have you watched it again a third time?
No.
Oh, oh no.
He would be saying like Mr.
That's
Beast,
not
Nolan, Nolan,
that's not
Nolan,
very
Nolan.
that's not very Nolan of you.
Yes, see, he would say that. He would say, well, that's not Nolan. Nolan's mom. Yeah, that's what he would say right now if he were here. Rest in peace. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, it's just he's kind of like more of a producer who is also there. you know, because he
Yeah,
does
yeah.
a lot of the arranging and telling me to record podcasts, and then he doesn't do very much talking or substantive conversation, at least. He speaks, but it's usually in sort of a way that makes other people go like,
Well, that's just
this
kind of how he
guy.
is, isn't it?
Yeah, but he's
Just kind of
great,
same old,
great
same old.
worker. Great
Yeah, it's
worker.
great.
Not a lot of
It
thought.
yeah, it's great how valuable a member he is on a team until you have to try and convince anyone that he's a valuable member of a team.
He's great though. What an awesome guy.
I've never known anyone who's watched Groundhog Day as many times as him, and that's
Me
saying something.
neither. Me neither. And there's some
Because
people who
I know
really
Bill
love it
Murray.
out there. What?
No, that was a lie. But imagine if I
Yeah.
did, though.
No, but we've had a guest who knew Mr. Beast, so I'm ready to believe anything.
Well, now you had two guests who know Mr. Beast.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Tell me more about that.
Yeah, that was also a lie.
Do
I
you
like
know
lying.
anybody notable or famous besides yourself, Worm Streamer?
I know this one guy named Atrioc.
Oh, me too.
He's yeah, sorry about that.
Yeah.
Let,
Yeah, I met that
let
guy.
me look for some real answers here. Uh, I am a friend of mine in college is family friends with Ang Lee, the director. That one's real.
Wow.
Like he did Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, if you know that. Life of Pi.
Wow.
Uh,
Well, that's interesting. And what number of degrees in separation is that?
I guess it's one, right? Because I have a friend, and then that friend knows the guy.
Well, that's
So it's
pretty
1 degree of
cool.
separation. Yeah,
Um, well, that's so interesting. Why do round pizzas come in square boxes?
probably because it's easier to make the boxes at a mass scale in a square form factor. Like it's simpler to construct them. The edges
I think you're
are
probably wrong.
easier to manufacture. Oh, yeah, fair enough.
No, yeah, I do actually think you're wrong. But did you know that Apple has like a patent on a circular pizza box? So none of the pizza places can actually do a box that is the correct shape for the pizza that they produce because Apple
That's not true.
patented it. Why?
I've seen them.
Well, then they're operating illegally.
Sorry, that was also a lie.
I knew it.
No, you didn't.
I did because I said I was
Ad
incredulous.
hominem. False equivalence.
False. I think this is not very productive. Do you celebrate Christmas, right?
I do.
Do you have any fun Christmas traditions?
Actually, okay, do you know what Christmas crackers are?
I do. We bought some this year.
Is it like a new thing for you this year?
Yes, but I've known about them
Every
from like British vloggers for a long time,
yeah,
and then I told my mom about them.
every year that I've ever celebrated Christmas, we've done this, and it was only like last year that I learned that this was not something everyone did. Like
No,
for
I think they're
context,
not
for
a very American common
no,
tradition.
they're not at all. For context, for our listeners at home, um, I am like the only American in my family. My sister and I, our whole family is Irish. I'm in the airport right now, going back to Ireland actually. Um,
Big
and
Chungus.
oh
There he is,
God,
doing
can we
that
kick
thing
him?
that we talked about.
Can we kick
What I
Welcome
him?
back,
do? Hi,
Ben.
I'm here.
Ben, we
Yeah,
talked
I was eating lunch.
extensively about how you do exactly what you just did.
Yeah,
What?
I did an indistinguishable Ben impression.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Do it again.
Hello.
Yeah, that's just me saying hello.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
That's not very Nolan Beast of you.
Yeah.
No, that's not beast mode. I would never say Nolan Beast.
No, you do.
Amateur.
No,
You would.
no, that's not very Nolan
I'd say
You
Beast of you. I
Nolan's
would
said
the
never
that
say
Beast.
Beast mode.
no,
Amateur.
like
No,
the beast.
I'd say Nolan the Beast.
I would never compare Nolan to a beast. I
Do you
love him too
think
much.
Jimmy is going to like one day retire and he'll crown Nolan as the new Mr. Beast?
No, because I think Nolan's like a similar age to Mr. Beast. I think they'd probably retire around the same
They
time.
age differently.
But I'm sorry, are you saying that Mr. Beast ages faster?
No, I'm
I
saying
would have
Nolan
thought he'd
ages
age
slower.
slower. Right. So
Hmm.
Are you
I
stupid?
feel as though that's unrelated. I feel as though, if anything, Mr. Beast would be the one to age more slowly because it's kind of in the name, right? He made a deal with the devil, eternal longevity, eternal YouTube stardom in exchange for his soul or something.
Do you think that's in the name Mr. Beast?
Yeah, quite explicitly.
Damn, you can't spell either.
Wow.
Notice how fun and pleasant this conversation was until Ben joined it.
Dead. Yeah.
Can we can we start the Ben podcast where Ben's not invited?
Do you know what the username
That's a good
podcast is?
idea.
No, wait, you've never been on
Uh,
the server. You have to get your gifts.
I have never even listened to an episode of the Username podcast. I just joined this call.
Um, yeah. So what happened was, uh, Username started a podcast like last year, and the idea behind it was he would record with a friend and then post the recording via music disc in Minecraft, and like we'd all listen to it together there. But he had me on as his first guest, and it was truly a horrific experience. He asked quite characteristic, horrible
Oh, I'm sure.
questions.
I'm sure. I'm sure.
Um, I'm not going to go into the detail of what he asked, but they were
Is
like
that's where the doctor bit comes from?
grotesque. Yes, also that's where the whole I'm a doctor joke came at. Yeah. Um,
Well, I mean, you are, aren't you?
Not a medical doctor,
Well, okay, not a medical doctor.
but
I don't
I
see
have
why
a
you'd advocate
doctorate
against yourself like
degree,
that.
but
Yeah,
I
so you're a
don't.
doctor.
Ugh,
Wait, so would your
Dr.
official
Bobia.
title be Doctor Bobia? Was that
no,
true?
Yes. Yes, it would be. Dr. Bobia.
no.
I think we should just
Um,
call her Dr. Bobia from now on.
mm,
We could just call her Doc.
Doc
so
Ock? Like Bobia, Doc Ock,
anyway,
Doc Ock?
in we did the Big Gay Awards Trevor Project fundraiser, and one of the donation goals was that the username podcast would then belong to me,
Can I
and
give you guys
we
some,
reached the goal, so it's mine.
can I give you some big gay words, lore?
Yes.
No,
Okay, I won't.
Ben, plug
Um,
your ears.
I don't have yours.
Okay.
okay, Ben, I'll say it, but you just loudly go la 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 the whole time that
No,
I'm saying
no,
it.
Lol,
not,
lol,
no,
Okay,
lol,
no,
so
no,
lol,
basically,
no,
one
that's
of the
bad for
lol,
rewards
podcasting.
for the Big Gay Awards
lol,
was for me to make
lol,
a worm song with Theo.
lol,
And the thing
lol,
is, I actually
lol,
have that song, like
lol,
a demo of it
lol,
on my computer. I've had
lol,
it for months, but we've just
lol,
never gotten around to
lol,
actually finishing it.
lol,
So at some
lol,
point or another, a
lol,
worm song
lol,
is going to drop
lol,
there.
That
And
sounds
okay, I'm
so
finished. You're good.
awesome.
lol, lol.
Wow. What a
Yeah,
great
you're good.
piece of lore. Um, I wish it wasn't shrouded in such
Want me to move over?
awful sound.
Yeah, sure. I'll move over. Sorry, guys.
Oh,
Gotta move here real quick. Don't worry, I don't have to leave the call. Just scooting over one seat
That's just
because there
crazy
is a
that
family
time
staying here.
literally done rizzed up little grok.
and I
Okay,
think we might have
we're
to
good.
talk about your role in the podcast in the future.
Is it a good role?
I think I could replace him.
You're
Like
not
Andy
invited.
Richter, like the like funny guys that talk show hosts have. to be like their funny sidekick.
Yeah.
I'm your
You're
funny
like
sidekick.
that, except you offer the opposite benefit. Instead of like, keeping the conversation light and keeping it going and stuff, and like adding in a lot of personality and stuff, you like kill all dialogue with
He's a bit.
your
In a
He's a
good way,
bit
though.
like.
interjections.
It's a
He's a
pleasant
bit
way I
like
do
if you
it.
took. It's a bit like if you took Hannibal Buress from the Eric Andre show and just put him in a normal talk show.
I don't know who
Everybody at home,
Hannibal.
that was a great reference.
Okay, well, everyone at home doesn't care. They just told me.
Everybody at
Wow.
home doesn't care about you,
I
Ben.
think this is our most toxic podcast so far.
Listen, I don't like Michael.
I
Why?
don't like Michael either.
Let's talk about wait, Michael, let's let Ben
Okay,
explain why
Michael.
first and then you
So
can
this
go.
is gonna be premiering, Michael. Let me pull up my premierometer.
You not have headphones in? You should probably like put some headphones in.
That's my premiere. I do have headphones in. Okay,
Then
my
why could I hear it?
premierometer.
Like, your noise canceling needs some work.
The only thing I don't believe in cancel culture. This is premiering on Saturday the 27th.
Okay.
Okay.
Um, do we have anything to promote by then?
I don't think so. I know what you're talking about. I don't think we can.
I think we do. I think the other thing we can promote.
The girls are
Really?
fighting.
Well, they want to.
Like, oh, that one. I'd be nervous. I say we can talk about it if in the. Are you okay with potentially delaying the release of this podcast if
It's gonna be an
he ends up delaying?
Yeah, it comes
awesome
out the
thing for
28th. I was
audience.
wrong. It comes out the 28th.
Okay, so as long as we're good to
We are.
potentially delay the podcast, is that okay?
I'll delay it up to 3 days. Yeah.
Sure.
I
Okay.
sort of. Yeah.
Okay, then sure, you can talk about it.
Okay. So
This isn't being
Michael.
cut out, by the way.
Yeah. No, this is never.
All
Yeah,
the
no,
what
that's good.
just happened is awesome.
Good.
That'll be great to listen to.
Okay,
Yep.
Michael. Do you want to talk about something that we've been working on for a minute?
Sure. Just can you tell me the
Boring.
name? Oh, 'cause I don't remember which of the two we'd be talking about right now.
I mean, okay, I'm fine leaking either one. It's really up
Wow.
to you.
I just gotta
Well,
say, it was such a strong choice to get two podcast guests who are constantly involved in secret planning and stuff. Great.
Okay.
yeah, it's
Okay.
great.
Okay.
It's the risky one. Let's just say that one. Like from Fortnite.
Okay. Okay, so I'm happy to now speak about. I'm not involved in the leadership of the show, but by the time this podcast is airing, it should be publicly announced. We are, in fact, launching a game show early next year entitled Risk Averse. It is going to involve. Is something the matter, Ben?
No, that was applause.
That sounded a lot like
Really?
your.
It sounded like the premierometer.
Yeah, it sounded like the pre-ometer.
No, that's my applausometer.
You
Sorry,
should
so
get them
that's not.
checked out
That wasn't the
by
applause
like a
itself. You were
mechanic
just
or something.
measuring the applause.
Yeah, it was massive.
Right. But like not
Okay.
massive
People
enough.
loved it.
So what's Risk Averse?
Yeah, so it's going to be a game show where Atrioc is kind of the host, competes against his own chatters to see if he's able to answer questions about his own community and the topics the topics covers often on stream better than they can themselves. We'll see who's been paying more attention to those marketing Mondays and all that. I don't want to go into too many details because I don't want to give away too much in advance, but with any luck, it's going to be a fun time, a good stream. We've got a lot of high quality stuff going into it. I'm personally going to be the host. I've been asked to do that, and I'm quite excited about the prospect. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. You're going to get to see chatters make fun of Atrioc. You're going to get to see me make fun of Atrioc. You're going to get to see Atrioc rage at getting questions that he really ought to know wrong. We've got fun graphics. We've got music. It's gonna be a great time, I think.
Yeah,
That's so
and we do
cool.
need contestants. We do need. So if you were listening to this, you can apply to be a contestant. You would need to have a camera on though. So do think
It's
about
true.
that one.
We do have contestants lined up at present, but the more the merrier because we might do multiple shows of this. We might have special celebrity guest stars in future episodes to speak. Don't want to confirm anything right now, but there's a lot of possibilities.
We
And
have the
anybody
Rizzler.
who's listening can't give it away, Ben.
He's gonna be doing the Riz face the whole time.
It's going to make answering questions kind of difficult. Also, because he's like a 9-year-old, 10-year-old. How old is the Rizzler?
He's 30.
He's
I'm
30. The
not
Rizzler is
sure.
30 years old. I was under the impression that he was in like elementary school.
You're the wrong impression. You're
Oh,
stupid.
I'm my
I have
bad.
to say, I think username would be very, very sad to hear that his podcast has fallen to capitalism and marketing.
It's not
Good
even
luck on your
capitalism.
show,
We haven't
but
paid for this promo.
Well, I'm just thinking about. Listen, have you ever heard about MAGA Mike
well, Ben
Lawler?
sidelined me.
I'm. I don't want to answer the question that Ben just asked. So, Leah, how about we go back to you?
Okay, well, before our original conversation was talking about how you're flying back to Ireland
I
and
am.
talking about
You going to
Christmas
Iowa?
tradition, Christmas
Ignore him.
traditions and stuff, you know?
Yeah. So, yeah, we always have Christmas crackers. I remember we'd always have to go to Costco in the U.S. to get them because it was the only place that had them.
Home Goods has them.
Wait, Christmas crackers?
Not the kind of crackers that you're
Do
thinking
you
of.
mean
We don't.
cookies?
We don't. No, we don't mean white people, Ben. Um,
Oh,
I was talking about cookies. Like Cookie Monster.
Ben, are you capable of relating any thought to anything that has a target audience above the age of 6?
then what?
Um.
What tell us about the wild cracks?
Oh my god, I love the Wildcats. Do you know the Wildcats, Michael?
No, I don't know the Wildcrats.
You go on adventure to the coolest creatures, from the oceans to the trees. The brothers Krat are going places you never get to see.
Leah, could you
Hanging with
tell me
their creature
what
friends.
Copyright,
children's
GMPA.
media?
Never.
Can you tell me what piece of children's media this is from?
This is from a show Ben recalled called Wild Kratts that when we asked around who knew what Wild Kratts was, Rum actually spoke up and said she knew. And I said, "Really?"
Because she loves the
And
show.
then no, but then she explained that her 4-year-olds watched the show.
Ben,
So,
this show started in 2011.
9
which
11.
was alarming to me. Then what year
Why?
were
Yeah,
you born?
2005.
No. Oh my God. Please don't make me. Leah,
Isn't it
did we
kind of
both just confront our
disturbing?
morality there?
No, because I've
Mortality.
been hit with this so many times by now.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
I forget that he's meaningfully younger than me.
But a
yeah.
kids
As in,
show coming out in 2011 to me is like I will never have heard of that show. I
I'm
was
very intelligent
like
for my
beyond
age.
that.
30.
No, not correct.
Yeah. He's hmm.
Finish that sentence.
I can throw Ben a
Unique
freebie.
individual.
Wait, I gotta show you something cool. Wait, give me a sec.
Well, we can't
You don't
do
have to.
that. We can't go, wait, give me a sec, and then pause and nobody say anything. Like
If
we
you want,
actually
I can talk
can't
about
wait.
one of.
Okay, I'm
I
back.
can talk. Okay.
What?
Yeah, it is physically painful to my ears. Please stop whatever you're doing.
Hello. Wait, it's off. Hello. What's up?
This is actually the worst podcast we've done. Ben, this one's
I was fully prepared to. Oh my god! Please,
Finn,
genuinely turn
that
that off.
hurt.
It's genuinely hurting my ears. I'm not kidding, and I can't do anything about it because I'm not home right now. I can't change my
Yeah,
audio.
yeah, I'll stop. I got this cool little microphone thing that changes my voice.
We
Don't
could
they
tell.
have?
That
Yeah,
was.
I know exactly what it is. They look like a
W-
megaphone
Wait,
and
is this
they
one better?
Please stop.
Okay.
uh,
How about
um
we? How about we talk about something serious?
Okay.
How do we? How do we feel about?
9/11.
No,
right. Well,
how do
You're
we
saying it's not
feel?
serious? It's a serious tragedy.
How do we feel about the current conflicts going on in Eastern Congo?
um veto. Veto. Maybe we should talk about foreign affairs.
How do we feel about the recent domestic policy changes made by the new Syrian
Oh
government?
my god, politics frogs in the Atriot community these days. Jesus
Yeah.
Christ.
Listen,
No,
username would
Michael's in
like
the
that one.
lemonade stand Discord.
Ugh.
I am, but I also get mad at
How
them
is
all the
that?
time.
How's that? What's
They,
that like?
some of
I
them,
don't visit there.
um, there are some people there who are cool, and there's some people there who will make you crash out so hard.
I'm
Um,
one of the crash out ones.
you are not one of the crash out ones, if you can believe it. I like one time, there was like a Big A clip or something or other, where he said it frustrated him how like people who didn't like stuff going on with the book Abundance were just people who hadn't read it. I have read Abundance, and I'm not its biggest fan. So I spoke about this in the Discord. Now, I couldn't speak to the book with like super clear, well thought arguments because I read it like 9 months ago when it came out.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I did read it, and I'm not kidding you. They argued for 14 hours.
Jesus.
I sent the message at night at like 10 p.m. I went to sleep. I woke up at noon the next day. They were still arguing about it.
Yeah, I can't. I mean, there are many things that I'm passionate about, and like I'll listen to Lemonade Stand now and again, but like I felt very seen by Atrioc when during the ASMP season 2 tour he like apologized for the amount of politics frogs that he's brought about, because sometimes it's like I'm happy to engage in like serious conversation and talk about like real issues. I enjoy that, but I don't enjoy when it's like 100% of someone's personality and it feels like I like sometimes to just like be able to have fun and like sometimes the politics frogs are looking to fight
Yeah.
and I just don't
No,
want to deal with that.
I agree. Um, I
Really?
remember this tweet that I read a while ago. He was talking about politics and it was like, it is objectively true that if you want to like win over Gen Z white men or whatever, you have to constantly validate them, blah blah blah, because like they get defensive about getting emasculated, like they're really insecure, but actually admitting this is political suicide. And I agree with that. And I feel as though Atrioc kind of has to be, it's very walking on eggshells with this path that he's trying to carve out for himself. Because he's trying to court these people without doing anything to make them uncomfortable. And now personally, I enjoy the content. I'll be honest. I consume a lot of political stuff, a lot of economic stuff, and I think it's a good way of integrating humor into that. I wish he did a little more world news, but whatever. But I think back to that because I think it's fair to say that a lot of like his gaming community and a lot of his kind of old head community use a lot farther left than the current kind of broader base he's trying to port, right? Um, and I think that giving too much of a platform to those voices could risk alienating
Alienating.
audience that he's currently trying to get a hold of. And I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing on like a pragmatic level because this is an important if you care about the future of America, which he clearly seems to, winning back that voter bloc is a very necessary thing to do. And he's doing what he's got to do to try and achieve that. But it is a little unfortunate from the POV of somebody who came from that older content. There's kind of a loss there.
Yeah, I think that there is a lot of placating that has to happen to appeal to like a broader base. Nobody ever likes to feel like they or a group that they are in share any responsibility for larger issues that frustrate them. And so, I mean, like, I think that is a big contributor to identity politics issues. Like, people will take very personally anything that says, I mean, okay, things like inflation are because of a broad variety of factors that have contributed. Things like male loneliness epidemic and like the Me Too movement, all of these like hot button controversial conversations that are happening and have been happening have a variety of factors, but if you try to like inject any nuance or you risk offending or alienating whoever you're talking to if they might feel that they are a part of one of those variety of factors. And I do think, I don't know, I think the broader the scope, the more neutral your language has to be. Like the broader the scope of the audience that you're looking for, the more neutral you have to be.
Yeah,
And
I agree.
yeah. And I think
I
it's
think
one thing to say being fact-based, but it's sometimes you have to select around or be creative in your way, like use a lot of circumlocution in asserting certain facts if you think that it's going to make people uncomfortable. And I think that can be
yeah,
counterintuitive.
yeah. I think Atriarch as a person, I have no reason to believe that he isn't very pro like social leftist causes like trans rights, uh, anti-racism, anti-misogyny, so on and so forth. But I think he makes a conscious choice in an effort to kind of coax people over to not prioritize those issues in his content, which while I don't necessarily agree with it, I know people like Ezra Klein, Derek Thompson, a lot of those folks in kind of the new school left have really hard advocated for that sort of messaging, like drop the social stuff, just speak to affordability, speak to economics, speak to the hard facts. Um, I don't necessarily agree with that approach, but it is an approach that, at least for him, seems to be working. And I think in my somewhat optimistic worldview, I hope what happens is if this campaigning works, if this messaging works, and it brings back electoral politics towards affordability, towards leftist movements and causes, we might be able to then refocus towards those other issues that are just as important, but are perhaps more divisive and not as broadly agreeable. However, I do worry because I know, for example, we mentioned him Irish, the revolution that gained independence in Ireland, for example, in the 1920s, it was a very broad, very disparate coalition. Like you had neoliberals, not by that name, but in belief essentially. You had communists, you had conservatives, essentially all uniting on the core commonalities they had. They made a big tent and they fought. But essentially, as soon as they gained independence, that all broke down, and none of the further ambitions that they were looking for occurred. And I just worry. I worry that the people who are advocating for this style of approach to politics, this kind of dropping these issues and just pragmatically focusing on victory and affordability, I worry that they genuinely don't care about the issues beyond affordability. And I worry that they know that by leaving it behind now, they will lose it. There won't be a chance to get it back in future as that coalition, once affordability is attained, breaks down and no longer agrees on this stuff. So I just hope if that is the political philosophy that Atrioc is subscribing to, if that is the approach he's choosing to take, it's one that he's taking with the understanding that a shift in strategy will need to occur at some point sooner rather than later. Because eventually, if he's not careful, he might wind up indistinguishable from the people that he is aligning with in this broad coalition. Ben, what do you think?
I think it's interesting. I don't know. I think, at least and this could be a naive take. Um, I at least find that um, I like looking at the. I think good faith, bad faith is just one of the most important things. I'm fine with someone disagreeing with me if they're disagreeing with me because they actually believe that. Like, it sucks, but I don't. Like, I think the biggest thing is, at least for me, is that A-Track typically has always, I feel, engaged with always good faith, and I don't see that changing. And I don't know. That's like the main thing, at least for me. I don't, I have more, I can go further analysis on like actually the stuff you're talking about, but I find that that's almost the most important thing is that he, unlike I feel a lot of creators in the space, he doesn't give the impression of really doing this, I would say, for like, um, I
For
don't know.
farming.
Yeah, exactly. Um,
Yeah.
and I think just being a good faith actor matters more to me than specifically what politics they represent.
I
I sorry.
I think so. I think it is very important, and I don't I do think he is all like from my knowledge acting in good faith in his beliefs, and I also think it's reasonable to say and is backed by fact that people vote with their wallet. So like if he wants to actually get disgruntled 20 to 30-year-olds to go out and like take part in like the civic process and be informed and stuff, appealing to the most the issue that most people vote is predicated on, I think is smart and is reasonable. I feel like sometimes I think about like I follow uh judicial news, like Supreme Court news and stuff very, very, very closely. And I think people have really, I feel like when you look at the American system of government, the judiciary branch is often one where people know very little about it, but it affects things so substantially. Like, you don't realize when you vote in a president that they can be the person who puts in, you know, two or three new Supreme Court justices that have a life term and have the potential to change what fundamental rights you have. And I wish that he did more talking about like legal news and stuff. I know it's not his area of expertise, but I feel like he's so he's in this position to have an audience of young people who want to learn and want to engage with current events, and it feels like the scope of what he's talking about is smaller than it could be. But that's
Yeah.
probably just my, like, I care a lot about Supreme Court news. I know how
No,
much it
I
affects people's daily lives, and I wish people talked about it more. It's not really reported on by the news that well either, so, you know, it's
no, not
most
only
people
do
just don't know that much about.
not only do I agree with you, but I think it's a very intentional choice by him. I think he has more or less made the choice to entirely cut out everything from his messaging except for this one really central, really core argument. Perhaps because it's what he thinks he can speak to most intelligently, but more so, I think, because, as we said earlier, the broader number of things you speak to, the more you risk alienating people. And I think he's making the choice to just speak to one thing that essentially everybody can agree on. Everybody can agree things are too expensive. Everybody can agree that living is unaffordable, and current politicians haven't been able to deal with that. Um, Now, once you start talking in literally anything else, once you start talking about those rights, well, okay, what rights are we talking about? We're talking about gay marriage, we're talking about abortion, we're talking about trans issues in America.
A
That is
lot of the
all
time, they're
alienating.
social issues.
Yes, and I think he very explicitly doesn't want to speak to that.
I
And
think
so I don't necessarily agree with that, but I think it's an intentional choice.
I think it would be really cool. Like he used to have the Marketing Monday like world news segment and he would have like world news correspondents. I think it would be so cool if he had like pundits, experts. Like he has such a well-educated community full of people who are like experts in specific areas. Like I would love a segment about he loves nuclear. If there was like a nuclear engineer, I love nuclear. Um, to talk about like common misconceptions about nuclear power and, you know, educate the public on that. He has such a funny set of community members who have such a broad array of experiences, and that's been like evident from his career day type streams where he talks to people. But I mean, I would love to see someone, even if it meant he didn't have to directly engage with the being the messenger of the content and he could just talk to someone and like ask them questions and learn himself, and that would like neutralize getting to bring in some of those other subjects. I think it would be so cool to have like this is our Supreme Court pundit talking about the
Yeah,
Supreme Court term or something like that, because there are issues that go beyond. I mean, there's Louisiana versus Calais, which is part of the current term, which has the possibility of calling the entire Section 2 of the Voter Rights Act unconstitutional. That is an insane, huge deal and has sweeping implications. And like most people don't even know that's being heard. So, you know, I think it would be cool. I think he has the capacity to do stuff like that. And I'd like
yeah.
to hear things beyond. I know economics is always going to be his number one area, but I'd like to hear things that go beyond sometimes because he does cover the news and it is a part of the news and it is something that I think his young voter viewers have a lot to gain from.
I totally agree. If only we were affiliated with some sort of organization that had direct comms to Adriac and could pitch this sort of thing for him and
It
set it
would be
up for him.
so cool if somebody pitched this. Maybe I'm pitching it to you and then you can pitch it to whoever you know and then maybe they could pitch it to whoever they know or whatever, but you know.
Yeah, and somewhere down the
Hmm.
line, who's to
Yeah, I don't.
say?
I think it's interesting. He's very obviously, we've talked about it. He ignores social issues. typically, I think, I don't know. There's so many reasons. I think um, it's definitely partially just to shield himself. Probably, I think he's still. I think as much as it's like the elephant in the room, everyone tries to ignore.
Yeah, I know
Um,
exactly what you're gonna say.
yeah. I think the effects of the deep fake stuff are still very much felt, I think, in his content to this day.
I
Um,
think he's had to put on sort of more of a PR face. Eh,
yeah,
Yeah, and yeah, and it makes sense to not want to touch certain topics because you don't want to reinvigorate some negative sentiment that people have because of like that scandal and stuff. It still
Yeah. I mean,
it still feels
go
like
on.
a really, I mean, he has a huge trans community. And if you're
yeah,
not covering like civil rights issues and you're covering news and you're talking to young, predominantly white male educated voters, and you're not talking about things that are deeply affecting the lives of like marginalized individuals in the same community. I it feels like there's like a huge blind spot.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
agree.
Yeah. I don't know. That's my take. I do think there would be a way for him to separate his it appearing that he's espousing his own beliefs or something by having like a pundit or something for those different areas.
Yeah. I think the only way to get something like that to work, I don't know if this is something in our hypothetical here, but we're talking about him getting people to talk about politics, talk about social issues. I think the way that Atrioc would be comfortable doing it, and I'm not sure if he'd be willing to do this even, but would we be hypothetically okay with getting like conservative people on stream speaking to conservative causes? Because I mean, I think everybody in this call right now, myself included, is some degree of left wing, and I think there's kind
Yeah.
of an undertone when we say this, when we talk about speaking to trans rights, speaking to I don't know, legal issues impacting redistricting, impacting gay marriage, it's going to be a left wing cause because that's what we'd all like. But I think if Atrioc were to go for something like this, he really would want to keep it broad based. He'd want to present neutrality. And I think to that end, he would want conservative people as well as
Yeah,
liberal people. And would
I
that be
agree.
would that be something we'd be okay with?
I okay, here's something that's interesting. So I'm born and raised in Louisiana. Um, I don't
I did not know
have,
that.
yes, I'm there right now visiting family. My
Oh, fun.
political views and my views on social issues and everything differ massively from most of the people around where I grew up. I specifically grew up in a community that is uh, very blue collar, working class people who work in like the oil and gas industry predominantly. And so that has colored a lot of the point of view of people in from my hometown. Pretty much everybody has somebody like in their immediate family who works in the oil and gas industry. I have two. Um, and you know, environmental issues here are very controversial. There are a lot of people, there's, local, even conservative groups who have real concerns about the effect of chemical plants on people's lives. There are people in West Virginia, you know, which its entire economy rests on
Coal, right?
coal production. Whole communities, like, you know, dealing with horrible plagues of cancer because of their working in coal mines and their proximity to coal production facilities. Um, and there are real, I think it really actually could do a lot of good for people to have a real conversation with, like, someone who works in the liquefied natural gas industry, talking about what fracking is, having somebody, I could tell you all the reasons that I think it's bad and that I think it has a lot of problems for my community, in terms of destroying wetlands and stuff. I'd love to talk about wetlands. Um, but I also could tell you all the reasons that it's necessary. My hometown was hit by Hurricane Laura. I lost my childhood home in it in 2020, and it looked like a bomb went off. And thankfully, my hometown was able to recover, but like, people really realize the scale of economic effect that that would have if it failed to recover, or if a bunch of, natural gas or petroleum plant were destroyed. Like, petroleum doesn't just mean getting your gas that you put in your car. It also is used to make like hospital gloves and tires and all these things that you don't even realize. And like, it really, I think, would serve well to be able to talk to people who come from different points of view, like to humanize. Because a lot of the times people are voting with their wallet. They're voting based on what they think is going to help them keep their job, or, improve their livelihood, or help with their, you know, uh private, small business. And people aren't really like actually confronting the human aspects of like why people arrive to different conclusions. So, yeah, like my very, very long answer to that question is I think you can get people who are Republicans, who are not hateful and espousing like really damaging things. I think, like, do I think it would be okay if he got someone who was like,
Nick
you
Fuentes.
know, a bigot and was talking negatively about like trans people? No, I feel like that would probably be pretty
Average
problematic.
Shukar. Yeah.
And like
Yeah,
wrong and not but I think it's doing a positive service to like give a voice to people can talk about who can add to the conversation that is nuanced. I think there's very little nuance to like things like transgender rights. I feel like that's one of the issues where I go, yep, pretty much, pretty much you agree or you disagree. But things like fracking and oil and natural gas and, Rust Belt voting issues.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Ben, were you saying something earlier?
yeah, I was just gonna say, I think it's also important to note, like, he doesn't, his content is not is never debate. Um, he, like, never brings anyone on really to debate with them over a topic, or it's more like investigative, if anything, at times. Um, so I think, especially in such as, like, in key social issues, the community would be looking at him to push back on certain things. And
I don't know if I agree.
I I think it depends on what things. I think
I
I,
My initial thought was like an ask an expert type of thing. Like,
Yeah, that's kind of different than what
Somebody
I'm saying.
goes
Like,
on, they talk
yeah,
about what the Supreme Court is doing, they talk about the issues that are being faced and how, maybe around the time that Supreme Court cases come out in June, July, August, they talk about major ones and why the decisions were made and explain those things and explain the like practical effects and stuff. And that I feel like is law is very politicized, but law does follow like pattern and logic and like repeated reasoning, where if I were to tell
yeah. I
you
was more
that
talking
stuff, it
about
wouldn't be
yeah.
opinion based. I could tell you like
I
these people are fucking stupid. That would be an opinion, but you know.
yeah, I was more talking about like the example of trans issues and stuff like that. I think
Yeah, I think it would be a different
yeah,
I think it's I think having people on to do like op-ed style stuff is way too risky and I would not recommend that or think that was
yep.
a good idea. But to have someone be an expert in a field speaking, like educating on facts about it, I think would be cool, and where there's an issue where people end up in two different places, fracking being one example. Like there are some scientists who say fracking is not damaging to the environment. Those scientists I would tend to disagree with based on the research of tons of other environmental scientists. And in that area where like there are there is evidence and facts that can be provided on both sides that is that you can draw a reasonable conclusion from that is not like a hateful one or targeted at anyone in particular. I think that would be an area where it would be cool to have someone who was more Republican leaning in that belief and more like, left leaning in that belief. And
Mm.
I mean, yeah.
We are, we do appear to be coming up on time a little here. I do
Okay,
just want to.
okay. Wow. We're actually coming up on an hour. So,
I know.
Jumping Jewelers.
wow. We actually had a real conversation at the end.
Yeah.
The entire back half there. I know. Crazy stuff.
All right. Well, Michael, enjoy your flight, enjoy your Christmas,
Bye,
Thank
and
you.
Michael.
I hope everyone make sure to make sure to check out Risk Averse. Make sure to reach out
yay.
if you're interested in being a contestant to all like 50 people who listen to this. Unless this is the one who takes off. Crossing my fingers. Um,
What if
should I
we
waffle
send
for
the
like
whole
50
thing to
seconds?
Atrioc?
Oh, I can do
I
that.
can I can waffle if we
Absolutely
want to
not.
hit
Don't
the
do
one
that.
hour mark. Oh, I guess
It's
no, that
fine.
it won't happen either way because we didn't start the recording when this call started.
Yeah, we're at 58:20.
Want to waffle for like 2 minutes to hit an
Yeah,
hour? It doesn't
let's
matter.
let's waffle.
Okay.
Do you prefer waffles or pancake?
Okay, so I think at like a very low level, when you are like at a low tier kind of pancake mix versus Eggo, I think waffles are better. I
Mm-hmm.
think when you get to a mid tier, like when you're at a reasonably made at home waffle versus pancake, pancakes are better. I think when you get to like the upper end of both, however, I think waffles reclaim it.
I
So net
actually think
total
you're
waffles.
totally right. I
Thank
completely
you.
agree with that.
Thank you.
Wait,
Finally, a
say it
voice of
again.
reason
Okay,
at the
okay.
yeah,
If
yeah.
you're between a shit waffle and a shit pancake, choose shit waffle. If you're between
Agreed.
mid, it's pretty good. Pancake or waffle, choose pancake. If you're between really good, like gourmet, expertly made waffle or pancake, choose waffle.
I agree with all except the end. I would choose really good pancake.
No,
Well,
bad take. Wrong
yeah,
take.
I mean,
I don't
Yeah.
whatever,
know. There's
man.
some really good pancakes out there. I
And
don't
there's
know.
better waffles.
I
There are some good
disagree.
pancakes. but
You just
there
haven't
are
had a
some
good. You just
incredible
haven't had a good
Okay,
waffle.
here's the thing. I think the high-end waffle is better than the
And that's
high-end
our show.
pancake.
You know this guy.
That's
But
You know
the
this
this
guy
but
is
the
doesn't. Yeah,
peak
this guy doesn't eat
pancake is better than
chocolate.
the peak waffle.
Thanks for listening,
This guy.
everybody.